You're standing in the grocery aisle reaching for that pink salt everyone's been talking about. The label says Himalayan. The color looks exotic, almost gem-like. The price tag says premium 3 times what regular salt costs. And somewhere in your mind, you're picturing snow-capped mountains and ancient glacial purity. But here's something that might surprise you. That salt never saw the Himalayas. It comes from a mine 300 kilometers away, deep in the Punjab region of Pakistan. And that beautiful pink color, it's not a sign of purity. It's contamination. Tiny amounts of rust trapped in crystals for 600 million years. To understand why this salt exists, we need to go back to when Pakistan wasn't land at all. Around 600 million years ago, this region sat beneath a shallow tropical sea. The water was warm, salty, and teeming with dissolved minerals from the surrounding land masses. Then the climate shifted. The sea began to evaporate. Layer by layer, salt crystallized on the ocean floor, capturing whatever was dissolved in that ancient water. Iron, calcium, potassium, magnesium. Over 80 trace elements locked in place like insects in amber. Then came the collision that changed everything. Tectonic plates carrying the Indian subcontinent slammed into Asia. The same collision that pushed up the Himalayan mountains also buried these salt deposits deep underground, sealing them beneath layers of rock and pressure for hundreds of millions of years. The Khewra Salt Mine, where most Himalayan salt comes from today, was discovered around 326 BC. Legend says Alexander the Great's horses started licking the rocks during a rest stop, alerting soldiers to the deposits below. Today, it's one of the largest salt mines on Earth, producing 400,000 tons per year across 40 kilometers of tunnels. Workers carve through solid pink crystal extracting salt that hasn't seen sunlight since before dinosaurs existed. Here's the thing nobody tells you about how this salt reaches your table. Unlike table salt, Himalayan salt undergoes minimal processing. Miners blast and drill through deposits using room and pillar mining, breaking off chunks that can weigh several tons. These raw blocks are hauled to the surface and sorted by color: pale pink commands lower prices, deep rose and orange fetch premium rates. The salt is then crushed and graded. Fine grain goes into shakers. Coarse crystals get packaged for grinders. Medium chunks become cooking slabs. And the largest, most uniformly colored blocks. Those become glowing lamps for wellness stores and yoga studios. What doesn't happen is equally important. No bleaching. No anti-caking agents. No iodine fortification. The salt goes from mine to package with minimal intervention. But here's where the science gets interesting. That pink color comes from iron oxide, essentially rust. When the ancient sea evaporated, iron dissolved in the water, got trapped inside salt crystals as they formed. Over millions of years, that iron oxidized. The more iron, the deeper the pink. Some chunks are almost white. Others are deep burgundy, saturated with oxidized metal. The salt itself is roughly 98% sodium chloride, chemically identical to regular table salt. That remaining 2%. The 84 trace minerals marketers love to highlight. But here's the math: you'd need to consume 100 grams of pink salt, 20 times the recommended daily intake, to get meaningful amounts of those minerals. Sodium toxicity would hit you first. The crystals are larger than table salt, typically 1 to 3 millimeters, compared to 0.3 millimeters for refined salt. Those bigger crystals dissolve slower on your tongue. Some people interpret this as milder, more complex flavor. In blind tests, most can't distinguish it from regular salt in cooked food. But the strangest part isn't the color or the marketing claims. It's what the salt tells us about time. Every crystal you sprinkle on your food is a tiny time capsule from 600 million years ago. Before plants existed on land, before fish had jaws, before anything we'd recognize as life walked the earth. The iron that makes it pink. It was floating in seawater when the most complex life forms were single-celled organisms. That contamination everyone tries to market as purity is actually a snapshot of prehistoric ocean chemistry preserved in crystalline form. Here's where the story flips. The Himalayan lithium is technically legal but geographically misleading. The Khewra mine sits in the salt range of Punjab, Pakistan, nowhere near the actual Himalayan mountains. It's like calling cheese from Wisconsin Rocky Mountain cheddar. And those salt lamps claiming to release negative ions and purify air studies show they'd need to reach temperatures around 1,500 degrees Celsius to release measurable ions. Your lamp reaches maybe 50 degrees Celsius. The warm glow might help you relax, but the health claims don't hold up to physics. So next time you encounter pink salt, here's what to actually notice. Hold the crystals up to light. The color variation tells you about iron concentration in different parts of the ancient seabed. Pale pink means less iron. Deep rose means more. That gradient exists because ocean chemistry wasn't uniform currents, depth and sediment all varied across that prehistoric sea. Taste it against regular salt. The difference isn't nutrition, it's texture. Larger crystals create different sensation on your tongue. Some people prefer it. Others can't tell the difference in cooked food. Check where it's actually from. Pakistan produces 95% of the world's pink salt. The rest comes from smaller deposits in Poland, Peru, and Australia. Same mineral composition, different marketing. The pink in your salt isn't magic or purity or Himalayan mysticism. It's rust from an ocean that disappeared before complex life existed, preserved underground for 600 million years, then mined, crushed, and shipped to your kitchen. Next time you reach for that pink salt, you're not just seasoning food. You're holding prehistoric ocean floor in your hand. That's the process. We reveal how things are actually made one story at a time. If there's something you'd like us to explore next, let us know. Until then, trust the process.